Creepy, crappy movie review.
Hey everyone, welcome to my first creepy, crappy movie review again. And it's the first video I've done in a few weeks. I want to be doing a little bit more. I want to do a DVD / Blu-ray update next, the Diary of the Dead. I haven't done a Diary of the Dead pit since, I don't even know. But I just wanted to do something real quick right before I go for my evening stroll, which I'm starting to do more now, walking like 2 miles a day, which is something I just enjoy doing. You put the little MP3 player in and listen to some Bad Company or Elton John or AC/DC or Led Zeppelin and just have a little peaceful stroll through Prestonsburg. But before I do that, I've got about 10 minutes available here. I wanted to talk about a movie that I've always loved. This movie, I don't really even know why. I'm a huge, anyone that listens to Dead Pit knows that I'm a big fan of 80s slasher films, and more particular the wilderness slashers, which we've always talked about. And I've talked about this movie a little bit on the show, but I've never done a review for it. Maybe we did a review back when the DVD came out, I don't know, but I just wanted to talk about it again, briefly touch on it. It's from Code Red DVD. Code Red. It's The Forest. And to prove how big of a fan I am, first I'll give you a good shot of the, let's get that out of there. Bill from Code Red would whip my ass if he saw that in there. Anyway, to prove how big of a fan I am of this film, okay, here you go. It's a VHS I've had for many years, and I actually have it signed by the killer in the film, Gary Kent, and the late, great Tommy Baird, aka Elaine Warner, the female lead in the movie. I've got that signed, the signed VHS. That's old, you can see it's faded out, but I recently picked up a better copy just to have it, So, but anyway, when I was a kid, this was pretty much the video I rented. Exactly like this in the black case. I always remember the killer, Gary Kent, which you can see right there. Always freaked me out, the killer in the movie. But I'll talk about the movie Old School Prison VHS. Fuck yeah. It's one of my favorite VHS companies. Anyway, the movie isn't necessarily original. You got a couple, actually 2 couples going out into the wilderness for vacation, and they stumble upon, first I think they split up. The men go there and separate from the women, and they got there before the women, I guess, and the men come across this old hermit guy, which is played by Gary Kent in the movie, and he's a weird sort of guy. He looks like somebody that you would see at a local flea market around here, and I think that's the main reason he scared me so much. But the whole gimmick with the movie, without going into the story itself, is Gary Kent is the killer in the film, but he's a cannibal as well. Okay, so I like how they mix the two together. And there's a scene in the movie where Gary Kent, the killer, feeds one of the men unknowingly a piece of meat, which happened to be meat from his wife, which that always disturbed me. But there's another weird aspect to this movie too, in that there's a whole backstory with the killer of how the killer became the way he is, and the whole backstory there involves his wife and his 2 children, and his children in the movie are ghosts. So it is a slasher movie, but it has other weird aspects to it that you don't normally see in a slasher movie. And I think that as a kid, all of those just strange things really got me into this movie, and it was one of those movies that truly terrified me as a kid. And I have vivid memories of going in Superstar Video or even New World Video in Prestonsburg, Kentucky back in the 80s, and always renting this. This was the VHS I rented. This is a prison VHS, and even if I didn't rent it, if I was looking for a horror movie, I would always go back to this picture right here, and the motherfucker. I mean, I would always remember this movie. But luckily enough, I don't have to play these VHSs anymore. The great folks at Code Red came out with this DVD last year, a couple years ago, and this DVD kicks ass. You have special features on here, commentaries, interviews, and stuff like that. If you're a fan of Slasher in the Woods films, this is a must-buy film. I'm sure there will be some people that don't appreciate it, but again, it's a movie that I grew up with. A lot of people would consider it crappy. I consider it classic. I'm a big fan, too, of the director Don Jones. I think if you actually go back, the autograph video that I did a few months back on the Diary of the Dead Pit thing, I have an original one-sheet poster, which is sort of similar to this artwork. And it's the same artwork as this, but it's just they changed it a little bit. But I have the poster signed by the director Don Jones, who also directed excellent film Schoolgirls in Chains, which I think is coming to DVD later on this year. I think it's actually better than this movie. And he also did a movie called The Love Butcher, which is a great movie too. But we also had the guy on the show last year. So anybody interested in Don Jones cinema, check that out. He's a great exploitation filmmaker, and I wish he would have made more films. But anyway, The Forest is a high recommendation from the Creepy Kentuckian, and you be sure to tune in to more Creepy Capper movie reviews, more Diary of the Dead Pits. We're going to do some more on the road reviews coming up next month. Actually, I think we're going to do 2 of them, and one might involve the Lucius baby, Jennifer Carpenter, if you will. So you can look and see what that is. But until then, I'm the Creepy Kentuckian, and you check us all out. We're over at Dead Pit.